Heatley.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Social Development and asks, what recent announcement has the government made about funding for sexual violence services?
Mr Speaker, as part of Budget 2014, I recently announced $10.4 million in new funding to support sexual violence services. Sexual violence services do a fantastic job at providing much-needed support for victims and their families, and often at a time of crisis. I've listened to the sector's call for some immediate funding to ensure victims can continue to access services and providers could remain financially viable. The extra funding includes support for frontline crisis response services, community-based treatment services, services for male survivors, and people accessing medical and forensic services.
Supplementary question, Phil Heatley.
Speaker, I'm interested to know how this compares to how the sector has been supported in the past.
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, we know that sexual violence is a serious problem, and we also think it is a basic right that people should feel safe and secure and free of fear, which is too often taken away from people through sexual violence. A 2006 Treasury estimate found that sexual offending costs us about $1.2 billion a year. Not only has there been significant underfunding of services for some years, but funding has often been provided in a piecemeal way. By taking responsibility across portfolios for this area, we are able to see a cross-agency project that identifies the gaps, and we're able to put the funding where it's most needed.
Supplementary question, Honourable Phil Heatley.
Speaker, to the Minister, what kind of response has the announcement drawn from the sector?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, what we're hearing from providers is that this gives them the sustainability that they need to be able to provide these most necessary services over the next 2 years, and also means that we can then look at their long-term funding and identify where the gaps are. A Wellington rape crisis spokesperson said that, and I quote, "We are heartened by Minister Bennett's announcement and applaud the government's decision to focus on frontline services for survivors right now and plan prevention to be addressed in the longer term."
Question number 6, Honourable Dr Peter Sharples.
All I can do is shout.
Speaker, tēnā tātou te whare. To the Minister of Energy and Resources, how many homes